This video brought to you in part by these fantastic sponsors.
Hey guys, what is up and welcome back. We are doing yet another raid guide video, and this time we're up against Executioner Karkanis, and in my opinion one of the most BS pain in the rear end bosses in this freaking game. Now, one of the things that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to manage debuffs because, well, let's take a look at his skills. So first up we have Death Sentence. This increases the attack and speed of the caster permanently and grants an extra turn when health falls below 40%. This activates Crush after using Slice if cooldown on Crush is reset. An extra turn will only be granted once during the battle. Now, moving on to Shadow. If the caster's health is less than 70%, they're granted an extra turn and cast Stealth for 2 turns at the end of the turn. If the caster is stealthed at the beginning of the turn, recovers health and grants permanent stackable attack and speed increase. Stealth effect can only activate once every 2 turns. This does not activate when the caster's health is less than 40%. The extra turn will only be granted once during the battle. Now, next is Calmness. When attacking, caster is granted a stackable increase attack and speed, increased chance of evading attacks from debuffed enemies. That's where we were talking about having to manage those debuffs. And counterattacks following a successful evasion while dispelling any debuffs inflicted on the caster. The counterattack will make a critical hit. Now, it's really important that you do not bring any grass characters to this. If you're thinking, man, I'm going to bring my Bell for defense break, it's okay if it misses every once in a while. It's really not. It will screw up your whole plan because he's just going to counterattack on all of those misses, and it is going to just, you're going to have a really bad time. Next up is going to be Slice, and this is his basic attack. Cuts the enemy, decreasing defense for 2 turns, which definitely sucks. He starts out with Crush, and this rushes towards the enemy and attacks, stunning for 2 turns. If the target's health is less than 50% when attacking, they will lose 99% of their health after the attack. If silenced, this skill will not be activated and will only increase cooldown count. The skill will only be activated when the caster's health is less than 40%. This means that if you let him use this while he's down low, he is going to just absolutely wreck anybody who is already hurting. So definitely want to keep your people healthy. You definitely want to try to silence him, or at least, you know, just burn him down when he gets down past 40%. This is a big rush. You can't stall this one out because he will get those stackable attack and speed, and he is just going to do a pile of damage. Now, what do I suggest? Like I suggest usually, you're going to want to bring debuff immunity. Angelica is going to be huge here. Debuff removal, because again, if you have debuffs, you cannot attack him because he will counter attack. So Tam is good. Any sort of debuff removal is fantastic. Now, you will see that I have Soul Bad Guy in here, and if you did play the Guilty Gear collab, if you're watching this in the future, or if you are playing the current Guilty Gear collab right now because it is out, this guy is amazing because he can counter the enemy's stealth and hit him with unable to debuff or unable to buff. Now that means that the stealth just won't go through. Not only that, but he's going to counterattack on that anyways, and it is going to be huge. He's going to just absolutely wreck a lot of face. So what am I going to do here? Well, one of the things is, like, when you do get debuffed, you kind of have to hit these first 2 dudes. You can't kill them because they just like heal all the way back up to full. So you use them in order to attack something while you're debuffed, while you're waiting to manage those debuffs. So use them when you need to. Now, the other big thing too is, like, let's say your Tamarin is debuffed after going into idle form and all you have is her S1. Because she's debuffed and she's AoEing, she is going to get that counter attack. So you kind of have to manage those things as well. A lot of times I will burn an Archie if I have to, just to prevent that counter attack. But I'm going to go through here and show you how I do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's shine.
Do you believe in me?
Spear of Laguna. Bleed. Oh, it can't be helped. In the name of the goddess, a prayer.
ふざけめんどくせえごたくはやれもちろんボルカニックバイパー頑張れ
This is my stage.
Now, pausing here, he did resist that unable to debuff, so he did get stealth. Now, one of the things about stealth is you cannot attack him directly, so you have to bring AoE. Now, one of the things typically, if I didn't have Tamarin or something like that, I would bring an AoE character. You can bring a Lidica. Lidica's fantastic. You can bring an Araminth, a Mercedes, a C Mercedes. Anybody who has AoE can pop him out of stealth. Now, since I do not have any debuffs on me, I will just attack one of these front ones, and this will pop him out of stealth. Now, one of the big things that I would like to point out here is that I am running Daydream Joker on Soul Bad Guy. Soul Bad Guy's attacks, his S3 and his S2 do percent health damage. Top that off with the Daydream Joker doing extra percent damage, and you can see just how fast he dropped from just a defense break and the attacks from Soul Bad Guy with the attack buff. But let's finish this up because I am going to break that 40%. I would have liked to have shown you a little bit more of the mechanics, but he kind of melted him, so I will be right back. So one of the things there, when you saw that we brought him down below 40%, he did his big slash to everyone. Now, one of the big things with that is you want to make sure that you are prepared and you are healed up. So if you are hovering around that 40%, even if you're hovering around the 70%, you can use those front creatures in order to deal damage to them in order to get prepared for the transition into the next phase. So let's say you are hurting a little bit and you're not ready, you don't have your debuffs up, you don't have your people healed, and you're just waiting on one more turn. You can attack those front enemies in order to make sure that you have that extra time in order to get your buffs and everything up. But here we go. Let's take we don't need to heal anybody right now, so we'll just Archie into this and we will finish this up real quick. Now, I know that I made this look easy. My characters are fairly well geared. My Soul Bad Guy, not so much. He is actually pretty ungeared. He's running a counterattack set with very PvP stats, so his CP is pretty low, but you can see right there that he does quite a bit of damage to Executioner Karkanis even without the defense break, and I will just do this in order to finish bringing him down. So there you have it. I know that that looked easy, but the mechanics are a little tough. This will be one of the harder bosses in the raid, and once you get to hell mode, he is just insanely hard. He is one of the harder things in the game to fight, and I will have a video up on that here eventually when I go through and I do Hell Karkanis. So I hope that you found this video informative. I know I didn't get to show you too many of the mechanics, unfortunately. Maybe next time I'll record it and I will go through with a little bit of an undergeared team. So, but anyways, if you did find this useful, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification, drop me a like and a comment, and I will catch you next time. Take it easy, heirs. Peace.